Oh, okay.
Ciao from Rome and welcome to our Facebook Live. My name is Riley McNulty and I'm an advertising major at the University of Illinois. I'm spending this spring semester at Gustolab International in Rome, learning about food, culture, and sustainability.
I'm Maggie Marzonie. I'm studying communication and public relations at the University of Illinois, and I'm also studying in Rome at Gustolab International, learning about food, culture, and sustainability.
I'm At Sullivan. I'm also at the University of Illinois. I'm studying economics and political science, and I'm spending the semester at Gustolab in Rome.
So for the next 10 minutes, stay tuned to learn about how we've been traveling sustainably on the weekends and enjoying nights out in Rome in an environmentally friendly way. But first, to provide a little insight for those of you who are unfamiliar, Gustolab International Food Systems and Sustainability is the program we enrolled in for the semester. We have the opportunity to take classes that expose us to not only the food and culture of Italy, but some of its more pressing environmental issues and advancements. We've had rigorous in-class analyses of the current state of affairs, as well as site visits to apply what we've learned in the classroom. These visits have ranged from a local bakery to famous coffee shops to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, which is based right in the heart of Rome. We are 6 weeks into our broad experience and have loved almost every moment. We have encountered some bumps in the road along the way, but this has just taught us to be more flexible and better at handling adversity. The biggest culture shock for myself personally was that we have 6 garbage cans in our kitchen, all of which are very small. Initially, this was frustrating. I did not understand why we needed to sort our trash so much. It is unlike recycling in the United States. Here, it is very much a societal norm to separate all different types of your garbage before throwing them out. This took some time for us to get adjusted, but I think we have the system down now, and now I understand the importance of doing so. Another cultural norm in the United States is bulk grocery shopping. Everyone goes to the grocery store and buys bulk portions of food in our huge grocery stores like Mariano's and Costco. Nothing like this exists in Italy. As a matter of fact, most people are at the grocery store every other day buying fresh ingredients for their next 2 to 3 meals. All of the grocery stores are very small and locally owned. Italian culture revolves around going out to eat and drink with friends, and it is safe to say that we have immersed ourselves in this part of the culture and have truly enjoyed doing so. Another hallmark of many American students' abroad experience is traveling over the weekends to new cities. We have researched ways to get the full abroad experience of going out and traveling, but still remaining environmentally conscious and sustainable. So Bear and Maggie will share our tips with you.
Right, so I'm going to talk about being sustainable while traveling. So far, we've hit a few bumps in the road that we didn't expect. The first thing was some expenses. For example, transportation to and from the airports in Rome and to and from the airport in the city that we traveled to is something I didn't expect. To get to Champino, I split a cab with 4 people to make it cheaper and also more environmentally friendly than just having one cab for me. Splitting transportation with friends, or even better, using public transportation will save you money and is also more environmentally friendly. If you plan ahead while getting to Termini, there's a cheaper train that takes you 55 minutes to reach Fiumicino, or there's a more expensive train that takes only 30 minutes to get to the airport. Saving money will make your trip more sustainable. However, if it makes sense for you to save the time, then that's the best option for you. When you reach the country you're visiting, you'll most likely take a cab. If you're with a big group, this is a sustainable option. However, if you're alone, it's worth it to look into the public transportation options. Usually, it's not that difficult to take a bus or a train to the city center from the airport, and it's usually a cheaper option. After doing more research about traveling sustainably, National Geographic gave us a few tips. The first was to say no to plastic. Instead, bring your own cloth bags and fill up your recyclable and reusable glass or metal water bottle. Another tip they gave was to support the local economy. You can do this by asking vendors where their food and items are made. Another tip is to never buy wildlife products, including furs and shells on the beaches. Another thing to consider while traveling is the time of day. Ask yourself, are you a person who can wake up at 5 a.m. for a flight and then explore the city the entire day? Or does it make more sense for you to take a late flight and then stay an extra night and have the entire day to explore? Whichever way works best for you will ensure that you'll have the best possible trip and will decrease your chances of getting sick or feeling jet lagged during your trip. Comment below what you think. Also, you can be more sustainable while packing for a trip. Instead of packing a suitcase to check under the airplane, which will have to be transferred to and from in a truck, you can try to pack your weekend trips clothes into a backpack to avoid this. If you can take a train to your destination, that's another environmentally friendly way than taking an airplane. Finally, when looking for a place to stay, consider the kind of trip that you want. If you place a lot of value on eating out in the country that you're visiting, consider a hotel or a hostel because you will likely not spend much time in the room. If you'll spend a lot of time relaxing or if you have dietary restrictions, consider getting an Airbnb with a kitchen. If the place you're staying has a kitchen, then you can buy and cook your own food. This will not only be a cheaper option, but it is more sustainable because you will likely eat all of the food that you make. Also, doing research on the food in the country you visit is smart because some food may not agree with you and cooking the food may be the best option.
But on the other side, a big part of traveling is going out to eat and enjoying foods at different restaurants. But it can be hard to be sustainable, but let me tell you, it is possible. When ordering at a restaurant, being sustainable might not necessarily be something you have much control over because the source of each ingredient is already chosen by the owner, the chef, and the menu is already predetermined. However, you can in fact find meals at restaurants that are more sustainable than the next. Choosing a dish full of fresh fruits and vegetables will be your key to success. As we all know, the meat industry is the largest contributor to global warming. This is because a great amount of the energy, starting from the deforestation in order to create the farmland and taking care of each individual farm animal, all the way to the amount of power it takes to transport the animal, refrigerate the meat, and cook the meat on the stove, oven, or grill takes a lot of energy. All this contributes to the 75 kilos of methane produced annually by livestock, which means 18% of greenhouse gases are generated from farm animals each year. Choosing dishes with little or no meat can impact the environment and can contribute to eating sustainably while at a restaurant. These same rules apply to the dairy industry as well. The manufacturing of each individual dairy product can add up to 11 pounds of carbon dioxide a year and sucks up that energy that could otherwise be used for fresh fruits and vegetables. Here are some tips when choosing a fish dish. While some may think that fish labeled as quote-unquote wild caught are better for the environment, this is not necessarily true. When living in a landlocked state, choose a farm-raised local fish is better because it's better when trying to be more sustainable. This is because the transportation of the fish is lesser than if it were to be coming from a coast. Also, choose a fish that is less endangered or less popular amongst other customers. This will encourage the consumption of a variety of fish that might otherwise be wasted. But most importantly, load up on the produce. Choose a dish that is in season. This is because vegetables are at their peak ripeness and will go bad, not consumed during their proper season. These vegetables are also more likely to be locally grown. Vegetables take the least amount of energy to produce, therefore choosing an entree full of fresh fruits and vegetables is going to be better for you and the earth. And don't forget to take home those leftovers. In addition to choosing the right dish and making sure to have zero to little waste, choosing a restaurant that takes the proper precautions to be eco-friendly. Choose a restaurant that takes the proper precautions to be as eco-friendly as possible. Restaurants all around the world are trying hard to keep up with fads, customer desires, and creating tasty yet original dishes, all while trying to be as sustainable as possible. But doing this is not as easy as it looks. When choosing a restaurant, go for the ones that support the local farms and businesses. These are the most sustainable option because there is no transportation involved at all. Choose a restaurant that promotes the organic movement because these products are not grown without pesticides, GMOs, or other chemicals that can costly affect our environment. Thank you for listening to our live stream today, and we hope that you can take all of our tips into account wherever your travels may take you next. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thanks.